The movie begins with a somber scene. A young woman standing quietly before a grave, deep in prayer. The scene then transitions to a brighter moment from the past. We see the same woman, alongside her sister, proudly celebrating her graduation from medical school. Her name is Christian, and she is standing on the precipice of her medical career, ready to begin her demanding residency year. Christian is filled with ambition, eager to move forward and prove herself. Her sister, however, has chosen a different path, deciding to work outside the medical field. She tries to persuade Christian to join her, suggesting a less stressful life. But Christian is resolute. Her dream has always been to become a doctor, and she declines her sister's offer, determined to start her internship year. However, the reality of her situation is far less glamorous than her dreams. As a recent medical school graduate, Christian is drowning in massive student loan debt. The financial burden is a constant suffocating stress. Hoping to clear her mind before her residency officially begins, she heads to the gym the next day. While she's working out, trying to release her anxiety, a man rudely interrupts her, criticizing her form and correcting her exercises. Already on edge, Christian reacts defensively, and the encounter leaves her annoyed and frustrated. Her anxiety only worsens when she arrives at the hospital for her very first day as a resident. To her absolute shock and horror, she discovers that her new boss, Dr. Webster, is the exact same man she had snapped at in the gym. Christian is mortified. She feels a deep sense of guilt and embarrassment over her previous harsh words. It's making her already stressful first day even more nerve-wracking. The narrative then briefly shifts away from the hospital, introducing a much darker side of the city. We meet a drug dealer named Lopez. In a gritty, tense scene inside a bathroom, Lopez is attempting to sell his supply to a smuggler. The smuggler, however, gets greedy and tries to aggressively negotiate the price. The deal quickly goes sour. Lopez, refusing to be cheated, violently punches the smuggler and steals the money. Establishing the ruthless nature of the world Christian is about to unknowingly enter. Back at the hospital, Christian's first day as a resident is going disastrously. Dr. Webster, perhaps testing her, abruptly assigns one of his own patients directly to her. Christian is completely caught off guard, nervous and unprepared for direct, unsupervised patient contact on her very first day. She struggles to handle the situation. Feeling overwhelmed, she tries to explain her lack of preparation to her boss, but the interaction only leaves her feeling inadequate. Her initial days at the hospital are a rocky uphill battle. Despite her struggles, she manages to hold on to her job, falling into a routine of grueling shifts at the hospital. In seeking solace in regular church attendance, she tries to maintain a sense of normalcy, but life has other plans. On a Friday, right after attending church, her beloved grandmother suffered a severe heart attack and rushed to the hospital. Her grandmother, fiercely independent and not wanting to be a burden, tries to downplay her condition. She insists she is fine and attempts to check herself out of the hospital. However, the medical staff delivers a crushing diagnosis. The grandmother has a tumor on her kidney and it has already progressed to stage 3. The doctors strongly advise her to remain hospitalized for immediate treatment. The financial implications of this diagnosis are terrifying. Knowing the surgery and treatments will cost a fortune, the grandmother refuses the procedure. She cannot bear the thought of adding even more debt to her granddaughter's already heavy burden. But Christian refuses to accept this. She vehemently promises to take full financial responsibility for the surgery and insists on speaking directly with the doctor. Christian confronts the doctor, desperately asking about the necessity of chemotherapy. The doctor's response is grim. Without the surgery, her grandmother has only about 6 months to live. This news shatters Christian. The weight of her grandmother's impending death, combined with the fear of losing her job if her performance doesn't improve, plunges her into a deep depression. She feels compelled to explain her dire situation to Dr. Webster, hoping for some leniency. Christian is now at a breaking point. She is unable to pay off her mounting student loans, and she is falling behind on her taxes. The financial strain is crushing her. Between worrying about her grandmother and facing the imminent foreclosure of her home, Christian's focus at work completely deteriorates. She begins making critical mistakes. When Dr. Webster confronts her about her declining performance, Christian finally breaks down. In tears, she pours her heart out, explaining the agonizing situation with her grandmother and the terrifying prospect of losing her home. Moved by her tearful confession, Dr. Webster surprises her with an act of unexpected generosity. He offers her financial assistance and provides necessary medications for her grandmother. This act of kindness profoundly shifts Christian's perspective. She begins to see her strict boss as a compassionate savior, and a warm, increasingly intimate relationship develops between them. Their professional dynamic soon crosses into personal territory. Dr. Webster invites Christian to his home for dinner, and that evening, they cross the line, spending the night together. This marks the beginning of a passionate romance. The bond between them deepens rapidly, and they become inseparable, spending every possible moment together. One day, Christian's sister visits and learns about their grandmother's worsening condition. The sister offers Christian some money to help out. At that very moment, Dr. Webster arrives and casually hands Christian a significant sum of cash for her grandmother's care. For Christian, this feels demeaning, as if she is being bought or patronized. She questions his motives, feeling her dignity is compromised. However, Dr. Webster smoothly reassures her, insisting that the money is simply a gesture of his deep love for her. His words appease her, and her suspicions dissolve. Meanwhile, in the criminal underworld, Lopez is attempting a major drug deal with a Russian trafficker. The negotiation is tense, and the Russian buyer aggressively haggles over the price, threatening the deal. Seeking a resolution, Lopez contacts his supplier and silent partner, who is none other than Dr. Webster. Dr. Webster handles the situation with chilling calmness. He invites the Russian drug dealer to his home for dinner, ostensibly to finalize the market agreement. They discuss terms over glasses of wine. But when the Russian dealer reneges on their previous agreement, the true nature of the meeting is revealed. The wine was poisoned. The poison acts quickly, and the Russian dealer dies right there at the dinner table. With cold efficiency, Dr. Webster pays off the dealer's bodyguard to dispose of the body, revealing the ruthless criminal hiding behind the doctor's coat. As Christian and Webster's relationship grows more serious, he slowly begins to involve her in his illicit business. He asks her to deliver what she believes are legitimate medical supplies. However, upon arriving at the drop-off location, the terrifying truth dawns on her. The package she is carrying is full of illegal narcotics. She realizes with horror that the man she loves is a major drug kingpin. Feeling betrayed and disgusted, Christian confronts Webster. She vehemently complains that he is treating her like a common mule. But Webster's demeanor changes. The compassionate doctor vanishes, replaced by a calculating criminal. He uses his previous generosity as leverage. He coldly reminds her of the money he provided for her grandmother and threatens to expose the critical mistakes she made at the hospital. He manipulates her, making it clear she is already implicated and has no choice but to follow his orders. Trapped by her crushing debts and Webster's blackmail, Christian feels she has no other option. She reluctantly agrees to participate in the drug trade. Initially, she is repulsed by the work. But as the stacks of cash begin to roll in, the allure of easy money takes hold. The financial relief is intoxicating. However, the dark world she has entered begins to corrupt her. She starts using the drugs herself, spiraling into addiction. Her focus at the hospital completely shatters, and her personality undergoes a drastic change. She transforms from a dedicated, polite young doctor into a greedy, drug-dependent shadow of her former self. Tragically, she even begins to neglect her sick grandmother, the very person she initially sacrificed everything to save. When Christian comes home one evening, her grandmother, noticing her absence from church and her erratic behavior, questions her with deep concern. Instead of receiving the care, Christian now views her grandmother as a nuisance. Becoming increasingly selfish and dismissive of the woman who raised her, unable to bear her grandmother's nagging, Christian leaves for work